there's an interesting dynamic next year. I don't know, I say that about everything. Everything's an interesting dynamic this
Yeah,
season. I'm looking forward to so much, you know.
crazy. I mean, the
Um,
season is starting in a few days' time, or like the racing season is properly starting in a few days' time, and we still have no clue really what is actually going to happen, which is obviously the very exciting part about motorsports because in F2 again, for example, we could have before the season last year, we thought, oh, okay, who's going to be the big challengers? Of course, the Premier guys, but then also a name which was thrown around a lot was Guan Yu Zhou,
yeah,
was touted, or Jack Aitken, who were both touted as title challengers, and in the end, Aitken finished 14th, Joe finished 6th, and they didn't have a lot to do with the title battle. And
yeah.
so it could be like this year, people could be saying, "Oh, Drugovich will win the title," or Lundgaard will win the title, but then they could be nowhere.
Well, Lundgaard is like in that, you know, ART roll a dice to see which driver is going to have a good year type thing. Because whether ART intentionally do it or not, one of their drivers is going to struggle.
True.
that,
Uh,
that
it
does seem
seems
to
to
be the
be
way of it.
at the roll of a dice. It
Mm.
seems to be, and then after no in the first like 2 or 3 weekends, both drivers are usually very equal,
Mm.
like it was in F2 last year with Armstrong getting podiums in the first few races, Lundgaard
Yeah.
getting a race win. But then one of their drivers seemingly gets given a set of mechanics which are qualified to do the job, and then the other are probably supplied by um, like just uni graduates or something.
I was thinking they were supplied by dams because they wanted to do better than their French rivals. Um, but Marcus Armstrong's season last year was remarkably sort of almost a carbon copy of Jack Aitken's a couple of years before. You know,
Yeah,
right up to the point where, I mean, Jack had got podiums in the first few rounds, and then he went half the season without scoring points again, practically. And that shouldn't happen when you're in a team where your other guy's fighting for the championship. You know, not when you're a front running driver, you know, when you're used to fighting for wins and podiums. You know, you shouldn't have that drop off in performance. You know,
absolutely. I mean, some teams are managing their like team structure and all of their drivers equally, more or less, like a Prema, for example,
mm,
usually, or I would say you and I are doing a very good job with that, because I certainly can't think that there was any like favoritism of either Callum or Guan Yu in last year's F2 championship.
no,
Um,
no.
but
I
then
mean,
other teams just seem to prefer one driver over everyone else.
with other teams, you always wonder if it's a certain amount of which driver's paying them more to be in that seat. But
Perhaps.
ART, it just seems to be luck of the draw because I suspect the year before, for example, when you look at Nick de Vries, who was probably paying them very little, and Nikita
And it's
Mazepan, who
yeah,
was probably paying
it's
for the team,
yeah.
you wouldn't necessarily expect that disparity between the results. But Nick de Vries won it by quite a distance.
It seems very random at ART.